Well, Pat, it sort of started up in London, Ontario, Canada, where we were born, where we started our band. And they have quite a Scotch population up there. And where we play little school dances, and all we say is play Auld Lang Syne to finish your dance. So when we came to the States, rather to New York, in the 30s, we had a sponsor, Robert Burns Panatella Cigar. So Robert Burns, having written Auld Lang Syne, we used his theme. And then as a coincidence, we used to close CBS, the last half hour of CBS on the radio every year, and open NBC. So for years that was sort of a ritual to go through closing of one year and opening the other with Auld Lang Syne. And then, of course, when television came in, we had to forget about radio and just do it on television. So that's in a few.
Can you recall any New Year's Eves when people did not seem to be in a good mood or in a mood to celebrate?
Yes, I can, Pat, and I'm sure you'll hardly blame them. The New Year's Eve right after December the 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, was really, anyone who pretended they were having a good time were really only just pretending, because it was not a happy time at all.
The reverse of that, can you think of the New Year's Eves when people had a better time than other years?
Yes, I can. I think that the New Year's Eve of 1945 and 46, when World War II ended, was certainly the happiest in my mind of all the New Year's Eve, and I'm sure in most people.
And how about the Depression years?
Oh, they loved the Depression years. They were all in the same boat. People loved that era. No one had very much of anything. No one was envious of anyone else because we were all poor together. And, of course, they had that hope that next year things would pick up. Now, I think in the Depression years, people were really happier than they are right now.
Really? It's still a lot of work, and you rehearse, and you have to know what
No,
you're...
we don't rehearse.
Oh, oh, this is, what was it?
Only for you.
Oh, only for us. Oh, you don't need to rehearse otherwise.
No, we have our complete...
How many men are in the band?
15.
Okay, Mike? Here's Eve. Can you recall any mishaps over the past 43 years with any of the celebrants? Anybody want to lead the band or dance with a clarinetist or anything strange?
Actually, not, Pat, but we did have a mishap a few years ago. We were doing the program for one of the prominent hotels in New York, not the Waldorf Astoria, and not the Roosevelt, and they had a cold snap, like 9 below zero, and the pipes froze in the building. The cascade of water came right down into the ballroom where we were doing the program. Luckily, it missed the cameras, and it went on, and people didn't even know about it, but we did, and that was the only shocker we've really ever had.
If you didn't have to come out on New Year's Eve, would you go out?
I believe so.
Where would you do?
Oh, sure.
Where would you go?
I'd do what the majority of people do. I'd get some friends and go to a nice place to dance and have supper and make whoopee a little bit.
There have been so many traditions that have changed over the years. Do you think New Year's Eve has changed from 10, 15, 30 years ago?
I don't think too much, Pat. It seems to be an American tradition, and from the time I can remember when we were little kids, it was always a time to be happy and look forward to the new year with a lot of optimism. And I don't think you'll ever stop people from being optimistic. And for that reason, I don't think you'll ever stop them from celebrating New Year's Eve.
Were there any years, though, that people were less optimistic than they should have been?
I think that they were most optimistic during the Depression years. I think that people were happier in those days for some reason or other that maybe a psychiatrist could tell you about. But people in the Depression era seemed to be having a lot of fun at all times. I think they all felt nobody had very much of anything.
Well, because we're having a recession now, but with all our advancement and prettier clothes, people aren't so happy.
Well, it's a different feeling, I think. I'm not a psychiatrist, but that's just my personal observation.
Gee, that's amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat.